Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy BB27 here, and welcome to the top 10 best Super Mario Logan videos. So, similar to the top 10 worst SML videos, this will be a little bit different. I will be way more positive in this video than negative. I will be covering what I think is some of Logan's best content ever. And this one was actually really hard to put together, but kind of for a different reason. Like with the bad videos, there were so many bad videos that it was hard to just say what was the worst. With this one, Logan has done a lot of good content over the years, but it's a lot less, and the ones that I like a lot are pretty different than what most people like, which I'm fine with that, but it was also really hard just putting together 10 of my favorites, because there's a lot of really good ones too that exist that I could also put on here, but there's not too many, so it was somewhat easier and harder to make this list. And because of that, I will be doing an honorable mentions part before our spot one, so look forward to that. Anyways, hopping right into 10. So, for my number 10 spot, I have Junior's Sleepover Mission. This episode might actually surprise some of you, considering a lot of you guys may know I'm more of a fan of older SML and not as newer SML, because this video is pretty modern. It's from just a couple of years ago. But this video really surprised me when I first watched it, and I've since then watched it so many times. It is such an incredible video. Basically, the plot of it is that Junior and Joseph want to sneak into Penelope's sleepover so that they can see the girls and all that, right? It's kind of like a dumb plot, but that's what makes it funny. And to me, this video really feels like kind of like a Dumb and Dumber thing, with Junior and Joseph just doing a bunch of stupid shit and trying to like do these pathetic attempts to break into the sleepover. Like they dress up as girls and try to pretend to be girls, and then it doesn't work out. And then they try to just lie to Cody. Cody sees right through it, and he's trying to tell Penelope about it, and then she sees through it. But it's just so funny, all the attempts they make to try to break in. And then once they do get there, it's not that exciting, so then they leave. But then, complete plot twist out of nowhere, they look up and see in the window that the girls and Cody are doing like this weird shit, and like there's like glowing lights. So they rush back in there, and it's this whole experiment they got going on. I just love how this video goes from being something kind of like, you know, normal to just completely crazy. And it's just so funny seeing Junior and Joseph with their chemistry. They're not annoying or assholes to Cody for no reason like they usually are. In this video, it's much more just them working together to get the same goal, and they don't really bother Cody or Penelope too much. They just want to get in the sleepover, and I just always like, there's this charm to this video that I like a lot, and you guys will notice this as I go further down the list, is that there's usually just a charm or a very special like kind of moment from the video that I hold close and that I like a lot, and that's kind of why it's one of my favorites. This one isn't like as amazing as the other ones on this list, but it's still really good, especially considering it's a much more modern day episode. So yeah, moving on to number 9. So, for number 9, I have Bowser Jr.'s Cookies. This one is a classic, and the amount of effort in this video is actually crazy. The plot is pretty simple, with Jr. just begging Chef PB to get him cookies, and then he keeps forgetting. So then Jr. goes crazy and just takes a bunch of sticky notes, puts them all over the whole house, reminding Chef PB to get the cookies. So it may not be anything too insane for a plot, but the amount of effort that went into this one always made me laugh really hard, and I really enjoy this video just because it reminds me of a time where Logan didn't, like, you know, force himself to do 3 videos a week. He actually limited himself to just 2 videos a week and was able to put more time and effort into the jokes and just the overall props of the video. And Junior's Cookies literally must have taken all the whole cast hours and hours to just set up, because by the end it's such a grand reveal, and it's just so funny because it, like, they go from something so simple with just him trying to remind Chef PP of the cookies to like something so much bigger with the whole house being covered in sticky notes as a reminder. Like, they didn't need to go that far for this video, and they did. And it just sucks that Logan's never really going to be able to do anything this great again unless he kind of cuts back on videos, which he doesn't seem to be doing anything soon. But yeah, Bowser Jr.'s Cookies has always just been one of my favorites, just because, like, you know, it's a really good Junior video, and you'll notice there's a lot of Junior videos on this list. It's just, I'm a big Junior fan, so naturally I'm going to like them. But there's just so many good ones. There's so many good ones. He's always been my favorite character, so it kind of just makes sense. But this one's just hilarious because Chef PB just absolutely loses his mind once he sees the sticky notes, and it's just a great video overall. So moving on. So, for number 8, I have the Pantry. This video is one I want to dedicate an entire review to pretty soon, so I don't want to get too deep into it right now, but the Pantry is a really, really unique video. It's kind of similar to some of the other ones in the past, like the elevator, but it's so much better than those videos. The whole idea of it is that Junior and Cody just get stuck in the pantry, and it's kind of like the whole video, they're stuck in there and doing stuff. But what they do is just hilarious, and like, they really kind of like share a moment in there, and I like that a lot. And yeah, sure, some of it's petty arguing, but it just makes for such a good video. And then there's other jokes that are like outside of just them being stuck in there, like stuff with Jeffy, stuff with Joseph, and then the whole ending. But as I said, I don't want to get too deep into all that right now. I want to kind of save the Pantry for its own video, but to me, it is one of the best SML videos ever. Like, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. So yeah, moving on. So for number 7, we have Mario's Thanksgiving problem. Now this video has a special charm to it, which is kind of one of those videos that really has that charm. It's a very nostalgic video for me. I remember the first time I saw it, it was just so funny, but it was also so wholesome too, how basically a lot of the main characters and cast get brought together for Thanksgiving. And to this day, I still think this is one of the best Thanksgiving videos out there. Also, okay, my bad, it's just annoying as noises coming out. Anyways, this is one of the best Thanksgiving videos Logan has ever made, and probably the best. It has the funniest jokes in it. It has the most wholesome moment with everyone coming together at the end of it. And there's even the whole arc where like Mario tries to save Rosalina from Bowser, because this is around the time they started dating actually. And Bowser has this whole thing going on, and he eventually does, like, he kind of saves her, but I think she's still, like, tied up at the end, which is just so stupid. But I love how they added a whole arc in just a Thanksgiving video, and they didn't really need to do that. And the whole thing with Shrek eating all the food is just hilarious, too, because Chef Pee Pee spent so long on it just for all of it to be eaten. And, like, the wholesomeness of it really brings this video to, like, almost like a 10 for me. Like, most of these videos are a 10 or very close. It's kind of hard to get 10s out of, like, a Logan video. I mean, they happen, and like I said, a lot of the ones on this list are 10s, but this one, not quite, but it's really good. It is just really special to me, and I've always loved it for that reason. So yeah, moving on. So now we have Goodmans New Life. So before I get into this video, I really do want to mention real quick that I know this is kind of late, but I forgot to do it. There's not going to be any series videos on this video, so I'm not including any like Mario and Luigi Stupid and Dumb Adventures, the Playtime series, Game Night. There's none of that on this list. I'm pretty sure you guys can already tell there's not going to be any, but that might have had an effect on the list if I did include those. Just keep in mind. But there is no series videos for the rest of this list or in the honorable mentions. So yeah, but anyways, moving on. This is probably one of the best Goodman videos ever. It's genuinely so funny. Like, it's not the ordinary Goodman video that comes over begging for the house payment. It kind of starts off that way and makes you think that, but it is a switching bodies video, which I know a lot of people are, oh, do so many of those. This one though works really well because it's two people that, you know, if they switch bodies, there could be so much happening. It's not just like, oh, Mario and Jeffy switch bodies and it's kind of boring, right? Like, they've done that a couple times. But Mario and Goodman, it's completely different lifestyles. Mario's all rich now and has a butler, and then Goodman's poor and sad, and his wife sucks, and there's just so much funny jokes that spawn from this. And I love how Goodman's trying to figure out like the poor people's life while Mario is just absolutely just enjoying Goodman's life and actually treating the butler nice and everything. It's just so funny to see it. It is genuinely one of the funniest Goodman videos ever, and I love just how much they switched it up here. It really does give a unique sort of vibe to it, and yeah, I would love for them to do, you know, something kind of like this again, but not exactly the same way. Just something more with Goodman and Mario, just maybe like swapping lifestyles in a way, or like, I don't know. Like, there's just more that they could have done with this one, but for what it is, it's very, very good, and it's definitely one of the best Goodman videos out there. So yeah, moving on. So now we have Superpowers. So Superpowers is an episode that even when it came out all the way back in like 2016, the original Superpowers, not the remake, let me make that very clear. The original Superpowers when it came out was one of my all-time favorite episodes, and it's never really changed. This is spot 5, so yeah, it's been pushed back a little bit, but it's always going to be one of my all-time favorites, and this is a 10 out of 10. Like, every video going forward now is going to be a 10 out of 10 for me. Superpowers is just so hilarious, and the reason for that is really the chemistry between Junior, Joseph, and Cody, and a lot of my all-time favorite episodes do kind of have that. Their chemistry together makes for so many good adventures and just ridiculous scenarios that these boys get themselves into, and it just makes for so many funny jokes and memories, and Superpowers is just so good for that. And it's not even just their chemistry, like obviously that's a big part of why I love it so much, but the idea itself is really cool too, with all the different boys getting, superpowers and just doing different shit with them, and whether it's for good or it's for bad. Like, I just love that idea so much, where characters get a superpower and just go crazy with it, and all 3 of them getting that and not fully knowing like the potential with these superpowers. Like, I just love that they're just goofing around with them most of the time, and like Cody keeps turning into stuff, and then there's even a whole joke where he goes and turns into Chef Pee Pee and bangs Bowser, and that's like one of the most iconic jokes from the episode, and it's just such a ridiculous situation. And it's always just been one of those episodes that I could come back to anytime and just absolutely love, because you could tell Logan genuinely put care and effort into some of the jokes here, and just the idea was really cool. And this even spawned a sequel, which the sequel is very good. It's not on this list, but it could honestly get an honorable mention if I wanted to. Superpowers 2 is very good, but it's not quite as good as this. I always prefer the original. It's just amazing. It's damn near flawless. Like, it really is like a 10 out of 10 episode for me. So yeah, moving on. So now we have the bake sale. This video is incredible. Let me just say that. This video is so good, and it's a longer one too. Usually the longer videos aren't like, they kind of like, oh, there's some filler in them, but this one really doesn't feel like it has any. It's like just perfect all the way throughout. The idea is pretty simple too. Like, the whole thing is they do a stupid stunt because they think they're going to get on TV, and then Joseph gets injured from this, so then they have to raise money to help for his hospital bills. I believe Chef Pee Pee also gets injured pretty quickly too, because he's trying to help them with the cookies, then Junior messes up everything, so then they have double hospital payments they got to pay off. And I just love the way that this starts so kind of like simple, like, yeah, Joseph gets hurt, but then like they're like, okay, whatever, we're just gonna make a bunch of cookies, and like Chef Pee Pee's doing it and it's going well, and then it all just starts falling apart. Like, that's the thing I love about this video, is how it all just keeps crumbling and getting more and more ridiculous what Cody and Junior have to do to try to get the money, and it all leads to them finally getting some of the money from like Jeffy, and there's this whole thing where he's like, they have to bring these cookies to like this dark room, and like Jeffy's there, and he's actually really good in this. He isn't like annoying or boring or anything. He's like actually pretty solid in it and helps towards the plot, and they do eventually pay off all of like the hospital bills just for like Junior to go and do something stupid and get injured, and then Cody and Joseph walk off. And I just love this video a lot because it makes for some of the best Junior and Cody moments in the entire series. Like, the way they argue and then also just try to help each other, like, it's just so funny, and all the stupid ass shit that happens just because Junior can't figure out how to make the cookies. Like, and he goes to the store and buys cookies, and it puts them in debt, and I just love the fact that they even get put in debt in the first place because of these cookies. Like, it's just so funny. It is some of the most ridiculous shit that Logan's ever made, but it's so good. And the pacing and like all that stuff, like, that's pretty good. Like I said earlier, there isn't really any like heavy filler in this. Like, even with some of the best episodes of all time, there could be moments where it's like, yeah, maybe you could have trimmed that out. But with this one, like, despite it being almost 20 minutes or around 20 minutes, it's all just funny throughout and like ridiculous, and it just keeps getting more and more and more like that. It keeps building up all the way until the end, and I just love that a lot. So yeah, Bake Sale is always going to be one of the best episodes of all time. Moving on. So now we have Stuck. We are getting to the last few episodes in the list, the absolute best of all time. And starting it off, we have Stuck. This video has always been one of my all-time favorites, and I love how unique it is. It's such a cool idea that I'm surprised that Logan waited so long to actually finally do it. Like, basically all the characters get trapped in the couch. And I've kind of reviewed this video a while ago, I believe for my 200 subscriber special. So I already kind of delved deeper into it than what I'm going to say right now. If you guys want to check that out, you can. But Stuck is a really cool episode because it is kind of like a simple concept, I guess, like, oh, they all get stuck in the couch, and it is like another getting stuck episode, but this one works way better because there's like so much more happening to it, and all this stuff that happens outside of the couch is hilarious, like a Chef Pee-Pee freaking out, and then Cody's mom comes over and like, harasses him, and that whole thing is just hilarious, and like the fact that everyone's going crazy trying to search for Junior, Joseph, and Cody, the whole time they're just in the couch cushions, and they're just like, they eat a homeless man, and the most craziest jokes ever get to like happen in this episode, like super edgy jokes, and I just love their chemistry. Their chemistry, similar to some of the other ones on this list, really helps build this episode to be as great as it is. It's not like just dumb petty arguing, like, no, they actually all bounce off each other really well with their jokes, and I absolutely love that. So yeah, there really is no flaws with this episode that I can think of. It's a pretty short one too, which sucks. I wish they did more with it, or they made like a sequel, kind of like what they do with Superpowers, because it really is a great episode. And yeah, so moving on. Alright, for number 2, we have the magical button. So this video could honestly easily be Logan's best work if it wasn't for my number 1 spot being something I've had since I was like basically 9. But this one is genuinely what I believe to be one of Logan's all-time greatest episodes, the one where he put the most effort, the most care, the most passion in, and really just gave a shit. And it's interesting because this video kind of came out during a time where the channel was slipping with all the bad Jeffy videos and annoying like shit that was going on. This one just comes up out of nowhere, and it's genuinely incredible. It's also very emotional, which you don't get to see a lot. Like with SML videos, it's usually all about the humor and what works and what doesn't, and the characters and all the chemistry like that. But this one is actually emotional, and it is an amazing element that makes it so much better than any other video. Well, granted, he's had some emotional ones in the past, before Junior and before Jeffy, like in the old days, and those were great, don't get me wrong, but it's really awesome to see it happen in a more newer time, and it works so well with like the characters. So the whole concept is also kind of like another cool one that I like a lot, similar like the Superpowers. Basically, they get a button that, you press it, it gives you anything you want, like a wish, but somebody has to die, and then Junior kind of takes advantage of this and doesn't really care about people dying, so he just starts wishing for random dumb shit, like literally the dumbest shit you could ever think of. And I think that's what makes the video so funny in the first half before it gets like really sad, is that he literally wishes for the stupidest stuff ever, like the macaroni and cheese bathtub, the ice cream truck, just the most randomest stuff that you could ever think of. And Cody, this was back when Cody was actually sensible and reasonable and was a decent character. He's actually trying to tell him off and tell him, hey, like, stop doing this, like, people are dying. And what I love about the video is that they don't know who's dying, right? Like, the boys don't know, but we do. We actually get to like see every time he hits the button, it cuts to a different scenario where, one of the characters that we know dies, right? Most of them are side characters, but some of them are more main, and as he keeps hitting the button, it eventually catches up to him, right? So his family starts dying, like Bowser dies, Chef Pee-Pee dies, and that's kind of around the time where the video shifts from being really goofy and just random side characters dying, and it's like kind of fucked up, to like absolutely sad and heartbreaking, because his whole family starts dying and he starts noticing it, and then Joseph dies, right? And that's when it really starts hitting, because it's like, and Junior just keeps doing it anyways, because it's like, yeah, he kind of starts realizing it, it's affecting people now around him. It takes him so long, but then finally Cody dies, and like that is the absolute thing that breaks Junior, and then he doesn't know what to do anymore because he's lost everyone, and he's let the button kind of like take control of him. And then he goes to the attic where he found the button, and he's like crying and he's upset, and he finds like the original dude who was like found the button or whatever and was living there, and it was just his skeleton, and he keeps hitting the button and eventually like killed him or whatever, right? Well, Junior sees that he has a gun, so he kills himself, but it's because of him using this button and abusing it and losing all the people in his life. So then Junior sees that, and he takes the gun and he kills himself to hopefully like, because it's just really fucked. It's a really dark like ending. They make you think it's the ending to the whole episode, but it really isn't, because him killing himself does reset like a lot of everything. So like Joseph and Cody come back to the couch and are like, you're missing Junior, but then they go back upstairs or whatever. They take the button and then they wish for Junior back. And then this part I really like a lot too, where like Logan falls over and just dies. That's more like a fourth wall break, but yeah, it's a great ending. Like, it could have just cut off after Junior like takes the shotgun, like kills himself. That would have been really sad, but it would have made for a really impactful ending. But I do still like the ending the way it is, with them wishing for him back, and then there's like the fourth wall break. I think that's hilarious. But yeah, I could go on about this video for way longer, and I think I actually did at one point on the channel. But it's truly an incredible video, and it's one that Logan really cared for. And there's no dumb filler in it. There's no stupid jokes. Like, everything kind of works because it's just such a lighthearted beginning and, you know, goofiness, and then it just slowly builds into this really emotional, dark ending that I love, and it's a longer one too. So yeah, magical button, 10 out of 10. It's pretty much perfect, honestly. So now we're gonna move on to some honorable mentions real quick, and then get to our number one spot. So starting off the honorable mentions, we have Jeffy's text message. This is one that I was originally going to be on the top 10 list, but I realized, first of all, I kind of don't want a Jeffy video on here. I mean, at least not like a really big one like this. But this video is so good, and it's mainly because of just how, like, interesting it is. I love the chemistry between Junior, Cody, and Jeffy. There's no Joseph in it, because he's off doing his own thing. But basically, they panic over, like, Jeffy sending a dumb text message to Jackie Chu. So they literally go to this dude's house and sneak around and try to get his phone. And I love that a lot, too, because you never really get to see, like, Jackie Chu's house or, like, anything scenes with him not being a teacher. Not in modern times, at least. When he started off way back in the day, he wasn't a teacher, actually, believe it or not. But nowadays you never get to see him out of his teacher role. So getting to see him like that was cool. But it's just so funny, all the stupid shit they get themselves into while trying to get rid of that text message. So yeah, moving on to our next honorable mention. So now we have Cody's parent problem. This one is like literally any video Cody's parents are like the main role, it's always going to be a really good video. There's usually not a bad one, and this one's definitely one of the best ones for me, and it's a 10 out of 10. It is just absolutely hilarious how much they argue and all their like marriage problems getting into Cody's life and in the way of stuff, and I just love that and how they're trying to figure it out. And just all the stuff that Junior and Cody go through to try to, like, you know, get Cody's mom away from Chef Pee and back with his dad, and then just the way they resolve it in the end is so stupid. But I just love how goofy their marriage is, and kind of just how depressing it is at the same time. It's just really sad, but it does make for a lot of good jokes and a lot of good videos with these two. And I just would love to see more Cody's parents in just the episodes, because they're so funny. Like, it's really fucked up, but it's really funny. So moving on. So now we have Cody's report card. This video is like another honorable mention real quick before we get to number one. I could put like 1,000 of these bitches in here, but I'm not gonna like drag the video on with honorable mentions. I just want to put a few that I really loved and that could have been on this list, but didn't make it for, you know, whatever reason, right? So Cody's report card is a really cool one because it's one of the first times where Cody's shown to, you know, well, at least it's shown at first, like, oh, he's not as smart as he thinks he is, because he's usually the smartest character in the SML cast. But with this one, he gets like a B, and he starts losing his mind over it, and then he complains to Junior and Joseph, and then they try to figure out a way to, like, you know, change the B to an A so his parents don't freak out at him. And I love how the whole video, they do all this stuff just to realize that the grade was a mistake and that he actually did have all A's. But I just love it because for once, Cody is like, oh my god, I'm not as smart as I think I am, because, you know, sometimes he gets cocky about it, so it's nice to kind of humble him a little bit. And I just love the ending too, or they're like, his parents are telling him that they're like disappointed in him or whatever. Like, that whole part was hilarious. But yeah, it's a really, really good video, and there's like no filler or bullshit in it either. So anyways, now we're gonna be moving on to our number one spot, which is Bowser Jr.'s Midnight Snack. This to me is always going to be my personal favorite SML episode of all of them. I did do a dedicated review to it as actually a collab a few months ago with Lucas, but this video is always going to be my favorite. It is a video I watched, one of the first ones I watched as a kid, and I just absolutely loved how cool it was that they went out and they went to a gas station and got themselves into all this crazy shit. The plot is as simple as it can be. I mean, Junior wakes up in the middle of the night, he's hungry, he begs Chef Pee Pee to take him to the gas station, they go there, and then a bunch of crazy stuff happens. That's kind of the entire idea of it. But the fact that they spend most of the video there and they do a bunch of stupid shit like spilling the drinks and him not knowing which candy to pick, and just Chef Pee Pee trying to keep it cool the whole time while also freaking out is just hilarious. Like, it's not as annoying as some of the other Junior videos during this era either. It's just funny and everything kind of works well for it. And the ending is always just one of the best parts where he just farts and explodes the entire gas station. It comes out of nowhere. Yes, it's a stupid ending, but it's a funny ending. And this video doesn't take itself too seriously either. And I like that a lot. So, and it also just really shows like Junior and Chef Pee Pee's kind of bond. Like, yeah, sometimes they fight a lot, but Chef Pee Pee does care for Junior deep down. This video doesn't really portray it the best as some of the other ones, like Mother's Day or whatever, right? Like, there's some better videos for that, but you still get to see kind of how their chemistry works with each other, and it works so good in this episode. And yeah, it's always just been a really nostalgic one. It has a special charm to it, and it's all my all-time favorite. But like I said earlier, Magical Button could honestly be number one if it wasn't for this video already being my favorite for so long. Like, it's at this point now where Junior's Midnight Snack will always just be my favorite. You know what I mean? It's just that episode. But there's other ones like Bake Sale or Magical Button that have come close. There's also Chef Pee Pee's Restaurant too. Fuck, I forgot to put that on here. Well, honorable mention, that would have been on here, like 100%. Chef Pee Pee's Restaurant is another absolute 10 out of 10, just amazing. But anyways, this one's my all-time favorite. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but that episode is incredible if you guys wanted to know. That's about it though, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this list. I'm sorry if it was a bit of a mess. But I really wanted to get this video out quick just because I know how much you guys love the top 10 worst. So of course I'm going to do a top 10 best. And these are my all-time favorites. There's definitely a lot more I could have put on here, as I just realized Chef Pee Pee's Restaurant could have been on here. But for the most part, these are all the ones that I've always loved a lot, and I still do. So, yeah. That's about it. Like, subscribe to your boy later, and peace out. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I don't know what to do for the top 10 videos going forward. I kind of wanted to just do these two, and then that's it. But let me know if you have any other ideas. So yeah, peace out, and take care.